Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Katja Utroša. I will be the moderator this evening. We are presenting... Okay, this is a little bit annoying. Maybe like this a bit better. We have gathered here today to present the last issue of ČKZ, which is dedicated to the Balkan Migration Route. The issue was edited by the activist collective Infokolpa. The members of Infokolpa are all, or at least some of them, present here today. The focus of the issue is the situation on the Balkan migration route, on migration routes in general, and one part also deals especially with the situation on Morocco. As far as we believe, this issue holds the first translations of texts written by the Moroccan revolutionary Mehdija Ben Barke. However, this will not be the focus of today's evening. We will organize a separate event where we will be looking more closely at Ben Barke, his life, his work, his death, and general political situation in Morocco today, and especially in post-colonial North Africa. Why is this important? Because Moroccan nationals are already, for the third or second year in a row, the most numerous applicants for international protection in Slovenia. And most of their claims are rejected. So we see that there is some imbalance going on here that should be looked at more deeply and addressed in a more strategic sense by civil society and also by the Slovene government. What we will be doing here today is take a look at a few other articles written by members of our collective. So I will introduce the panel. Over there on my left, we have Kaja Gajšek. Maybe you guys can introduce yourselves. It would be better in a few words.
Okay. Hi, my name is Kaja. I worked with Kulturno društvo Gmajna on the housing situation of migrants. So today I will be presenting these articles.
My name is Jost. I'm part of Infokolpa collective.
Aziz. Okay, hello everybody. I'm Aziz. I'm come from Morocco. I'm also an immigrant here, and I have experience by Balkan Route.
I am Dudu Bigarura. I come from Congo. I'll talk also my experience in Balkan routes in Slovenia. Thanks.
So maybe Jost, to start with you. Jost is also the co-editor of this issue along with myself and Sasha Heisler, who unfortunately could not be here with us today. So you, Tit Starc and Aigul Hakimova wrote an article titled Recent Developments on the Balkan Route, Slovenia. Could you maybe just give us a brief summary so we get an idea of what is happening, where we are, what is the current situation?
So Slovenia represents the northern part of Balkan route, going from Greece all the way to Slovenia with borders of Italy and Austria. In the past, talking about 2018 to 2021, Slovenian police was responsible for 30,000 pushbacks. So in around 3 years, Slovenia, in fast track the procedures, deported 30,000 people. Yeah, meaning that these deportations, so when people were crossing from Bosnia, Croatia to Slovenia and were caught due to tiredness, lack of food, and so on in the forest, Slovene police just simply denied access to asylum, declaring people as illegals and deporting them to Croatia, and Croatia deported them to Bosnia and Herzegovina. So 30,000 people were deported in 3 years, meaning that this was a state crime. In years then 2023 and 2024, and we saw quite a big difference in political procedures. So what was before an informal policy of the state to systematically deny right to asylum and conduct mass deportations to Croatia, these practices stopped in the second half of 2022 and then completely stopped in 2023 and 2024. So in this article, together with Aygul and Tit, we described how this change came to be, what changed on the field, what was the different, how did the police procedures changed. One thing was that Croatian police was less willing to accept people from Croatia, asking Slovene police or asking migrants who were brought by police, did you ask for asylum in Slovenia? And if the migrants said yes, they would not accept them. And slowly the police practices changed, meaning that in the last 2 years, Slovenia has kind of informal corridor. So in 2 years, 100,000 people passed through Slovenia, meaning that 100,000 people were in police procedures due to irregular border crossing and then brought to camps in Ljubljana and Logatec. One thing we also described in the article is the reinforcement of border security. In the budget of police for 2021 to 2027, there is approximately 16 million euros awarded through European Union for increasing the border security of Slovenia, meaning that police is planning to increase its capacity in vehicles, drones, thermocameras, and so on.
And another thing you talk about is overcrowding in the asylum center, which led then to an unsuccessful attempt by the government to find new capacities for asylum seekers. Do you have any idea what is happening with this currently?
Due to the large increase in in numbers of asylum seekers and the lack of capacity by Slovene state to house asylum seekers, in last year the capacity of asylum home which was more than 4 times the capacity, which holds the capacity of around 1,200 people were housed at one point in asylum home which. What happened was that asylum home, the Slovene government decided to quickly increase the housing capacity of the asylum home by providing container housing on the premises of asylum home which. This was one thing, and another thing was that in last year 2024 less people were crossing border to Slovenia, meaning that also less people were housed in state facilities than in year 2023.
Yeah, and they increased the capacity of the asylum home now with these blue containers. I believe that the ombudsman found that these containers were actually inadequate, that there is up to 6 people being accommodated in 14.4 square meters. Anybody who's been to the asylum home and saw with your own eyes how this look like, it doesn't look great. It's really, really, really the bare minimum. So I guess more will need to be done about this in the future. But now to turn my attention to you, Aziz, you actually traveled the Balkan route. And if you're comfortable to do so, could you maybe share some of your experience of how this, how the route treated you? How did you navigate it? And how did you finally settle or arrive in Slovenia?
Okay, hello. I am Aziz. I said that before. I also was in Balkan Route. The first place is Turkish, like 9 months, and they work there, and they have some experience and blah blah blah. And they lost all my document there. One friend they stole all my document, and they say, "What can I do there? And can I come? I cannot go back again, and blah blah blah. What can I do?" And they say, "Okay, I will go to the Greece. The first place to go is the Greece." And they go to the Greece. We fight with police and the border. You need to be smart like this. And they go to Greece like 1 month and a half. After that to Macedonia and the Serbian. And they sit in Serbian like 2 months. And they say, okay, I'm now in Serbian. Where can I go and what can I do and blah blah blah. And they found the best way is Bosnia. And they go to Bosnia like 1 month. And they sit there and they find there a lot of people. They are very nice. They accept us. They hang us. They help us too much. And in 2023, in the first year, and they go to Croatia. Croatia, they catch us like 6 meters in the border. They catch us. We are 5 people, Moroccan people, and we have a bad situation with police there. And they take our fingerprints. We don't know nothing. We don't ask us why you come in and why blah blah blah. And they take us just as like animals. They put us in one place in the police station, like maybe 10 hours or 12 hours like this. I don't remember exactly. And after that, they give us one paper. They say, okay, you can go to this location. And we don't know how to confirm this location. And because the police, they take us in the forest, they take us out of the forest. They say, okay, right now you can go to Zagreb. And we don't know how can we go to Zagreb. And we don't know which place we can go into Zagreb. And when we ask some people, they say, okay, there is a train station there. You can go. And we go in this place. We buy our ticket to go to Zagreb. And after that, like the first bus train station, the second one, the police they come and they check our paper. Okay, hello, can you give me some papers? How are you? And they say, okay, yeah, we have this with police. And they say, okay, let's go. Where? We don't know. Go to Zagreb. Which place in Zagreb? We don't know nothing. And we come into Zagreb. We sit there in train station and we write what we can do. Blah blah blah. And they say, okay, we can go to Slovenia. Maybe it's better. And yeah, that's what we do. We come to Slovenia to Sutla, the place, Sutla in the border. Sutla, yes or no? Sutla.
Sotla River.
Yeah, it's close in Slovenia. And they catch us, police are there in the same place, and they take back us to Zagreb. They say, why? We have this, and they say, no, you can sit there like 1 week or something like this, and you can leave if you want. And we come the same times we come back to Slovenia. And the Slovenian police, they catch us like 500 meters in the border. They catch us. They say, okay, don't be afraid. Please just sit down, put your stuff and blah, blah, blah. And we put everything there. It was very hard. Believe me, it was a Balkan road. It was very, very hard and good experience also. And after that, police, they catch us. They take us in police station in Slovenian border. And we put just like one fingerprint like this. And tomorrow they take us to Vich. And they sit there in Vich like 6 months, and after that, they ask for translate me to Kutnikova. And I'm here like now, like 2 years and 3 months, like this. Before that, I have a discipline in Croatia. They want the Slovenian people, the Slovenian minister, they want to deport me to Croatia, but they will not accept. They say no, I cannot go, and they go to Ambassador Rog to help me for that, and they say okay, we will help you. Just tell us your situation. Why you don't like to go back there, and blah blah blah. And they say okay, this is why, this is why, this is why, this is why. They say, okay, don't be afraid. We will help you. You can sit there and we can have a lawyer and blah, blah. And that's it, what happens. And they help me too much. And thank you so much for all organizations like Philanthropia, Ambassador, Faculpa also. This is 3 organizations I know here. They help me so much. Thank you very much.
Can you maybe tell us a little bit more why you did not want to return to Croatia through the Dublin procedure?
Okay, I don't like to go back to Croatia because I have a bad situation with policia there. They don't respect you. They don't. Okay, the first time they catch us like animals, you know, they catch you. They okay, sit down, sit down. They come with kalash and blah blah. We don't understand nothing what happens there. This is the first time I was in Greece. I never met policia. Macedonia also, Serbia, Bosnia. The first time I meet policia in Croatia, and they come in with kalash, with everything. Okay, sit down, like criminals people. They say what happens. Okay, who are you? Will you come in and why? And they say, and they speak also. They know just a little bit English language. And they say we are like this, blah 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 blah. And they say okay. They take us in one place, in police station. There, I told you why. And they stole some money. If you have too much money, they leave you just like to buy a ticket to go to Zagreb. If you have 500 euro, they stole everything. Maybe they will leave you for 50 euro for your cigarette, for your food or something. iPad, everything you have, charge, they stole it. There is no translator, no doctors, nothing. They take you like animals. Okay, come, we catch you, we take you to police station and we will talk with you. And there's no translator, nothing. And that's why I'm not like to go back to Croatia.
Thank you. Another interesting thing you said, since at these round tables, people usually share their hardships, but you shortly mentioned that in some strange way, the Balkan route was a good experience. Can you maybe speak a little bit more about that?
Okay, it's a good experience because when I start in Turkish to Greece, I was in one place in Greece. The name is Komotini. There maybe this place they are Turkish originals, but it's a Greece area. They respect us. They help us sometimes. If you have money, if you don't have, they will help you. And also Macedonia, the same things. To have a little bit problem with policia, but after that, after that they accept us. They say okay, because we are just 2. And also Serbian, I know a lot of people, they say Serbian people, they are not good and blah blah. For me, they are good. And Bosnia also, they are amazing place in Balkan. They are Bosnian and the Slovenian people, they are amazing. I've never been in Albania and Montenegro, Kosovo. I've never been there. Just in this place, I found Bosnia and Slovenia, they are the best in Balkans.
So the Balkan route is also a place of solidarity,
Yeah.
right? Between
Yeah.
people, not just a place of repression and violence. Okay, thank you. I would really like to welcome Ahmed, who just arrived. He's one of the authors of published in our journal. So welcome.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you again. Time and time here in same place in Predstavitev. More actions. Welcome, and we get. I think you get already started into the point, the migration system and movement, and all of this. And I am really glad that if you are interested, also a lot of things that exist in the book. The book is having a lot of writing more about the movements, some experiences from other people, my essay that I really tried like not to be more political, and so we carry on into our space here. Welcome again.
Thanks for coming. And yeah, since you're here and you are also originally from Morocco, and Morocco was kind of one of the main points that we tried to look a little bit more deeply at with this issue, because at one point Infocolpa realized that there is really not a lot of knowledge, not a lot of research about North Africa that is available to the Slovene public, especially if we compare them to some other places, Palestine, Syria, I don't know, Iran. North Africa seems to be, I don't know, behind some kind of curtain. Can you describe a little bit your time here in Slovenia? As an asylum seeker, you got permission to work. You've been here quite some time. What are the possibilities of meaningful inclusion, integration into Slovene society? What are some of the challenges you encountered? And let me underline again this very important fact. Moroccan nationals are the most numerous applicants for international protection in Slovenia. This year, I mean for 2024 and for 2023, and probably we will see what happens in 2025. Ahmed, for you.
So the question is why Moroccans actually are mostly more number in Slovenia. This is the first question. Second question, why it needs to be the situation like this, like also the most number two, maybe, I think, during due to the last year till now, who was moved through the Balkan into also movement from Slovenia to other countries up. And what are the struggles that you really face inside of Slovenia to integrate yourself into the society?
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, we would start with the first question. Why it has to be like this? Why the most number it must be Moroccan? During to the country, a lot of reasons can be included. First of all, every individual has his own struggles during to into his society that he was born. If we're talking about Morocco as one of the countries in North Africa that follow the system of the kingdom, and during to the all times before, Morocco was colonized by many other countries, and still so far right now, it was colonized by French, Spanish, and Portugal. Unfortunately, a small part. So the system, it's still going on a French, by French government leaders, and Morocco, it became like a piece of cake. The more people that they had, the same power before, they are the people that they were in hand with the colonizers before, during the old times. And once these families actually control all the resources, all the power, all the, unfortunately, the change that must be done every time, parliament, politics, the same families. So once any generation goes, the 1% that has everything, the same families, the same control becomes again and again. And the 1% always stay right there at one point, control everything. So the other rest, 99%, or we can approximately say 80% of the population, we maybe in the middle class, can't change anything. There can be a propaganda like something is going on, a better place Moroccan becomes time to time, but unfortunately, in a reality, it is the opposite. So this is one of the main reasons why it must be a huge number applicants for Slovenian protection. Second, what are the struggles that you could face to, or you can face to integrate yourself into the society of Slovene? As I say, everyone has an opinion on this. You cannot stay on my own opinion. It could be a personal, it could be like from another view. I could say actually that it's not only about Slovene particularly or generally. Slovene, it could be one of the countries that I have been, and due also to the experiences of other places that I have been. I can say that actually every place for any migrant or asylum seeker is always getting like a worse day, time to time. Unfortunately, integration is not that easy to be done. Once you make your own community here, you have connections, but you always stay like in a boat without any direction. This is it. Because all the decisions are not coming except from a very specific people that they see during the cases of any individual that follows the asylum system. That's it.
Thank you. I like this metaphor with the boat. You put that quite nicely. So yeah, integration, inclusion is another topic that we addressed in the journal. One very important article was written by Kaja Gajšek and Aigul Hakimova, which details the issue of adequate housing in Slovenia with a focus on migrants. Housing is a really, really hot topic, social topic, not only in Slovenia, but in the whole of Europe. It's becoming increasingly unaffordable. Actually, in the whole Western world, also in the United States of America, we had one video call with some syndicates from the United States, and they saw that we saw that they have serious issues there as well. But to return to the Slovenian situation, with a focus on migrants, Kaja, could you please outline what are some of the major challenges migrants are facing in the real estate market when they are trying to establish a life and integrate into a new society?
Yeah, so there are certain issues that kind of overlap with the general population, but kind of are even exaggerated when it comes to migrants. So the first one is high rent and utility costs. In our research, we interviewed migrants, and basically everyone spent more than 45% of their net income on housing costs. The majority of them spent 50 to 60% of their net income on housing costs, and one person even spent like 90% of their net income on housing costs. Another big issue is scarce housing, because like currently it's really difficult even for a national to get housing. But at least as citizens, you have an option for nonprofit housing. It's also really difficult to get it, but at least you have the opportunity to get it. But the Housing Act currently stipulates that only citizens are eligible for nonprofit housing, and the same goes for market rent subsidies. For EU citizens, there is an exception under the condition of reciprocity, but third country nationals are not in any way cannot apply for nonprofit housing, and subsequently also for market subsidies rent, which is a really big issue. Also, one issue is poor housing conditions, so overcrowding, having to move multiple times, etc. And a particular issue for migrants is also discrimination, either based on nationality, on their status, so being a refugee, and also having multiple children, because migrant families sometimes have more children, and currently at the housing market it's really difficult for families to get housing. So these are kind of the basic issues.
Yes, so for example, for the case of refugees, that is people that do get international protection, the state offers 2 years of rent subsidy, but then of course it is very difficult to find a person who would be willing to rent to people that maybe don't speak Slovene or are still learning Slovene, people of a different race. You did some interviews. Can you maybe describe some in more detail the ways people are being discriminated in the real estate market, and if local or state authorities are doing anything to address this issue?
Yeah, so many times, as they've said, they faced multiple questions. As soon as the person who is supposed to be renting picks up the phone, or is advertising for renting, picks up the phone, and they hear that you have an accent, or that your Slovenian is not perfect, or you're speaking in English. They just hang up the phone, or just have multiple questions, or explain that they are not going to rent out their apartment to foreigners, etc. And also, for example, for families, for migrants who have more children, they say that they're scared that their children are going to ruin the apartment, etc. Regarding local and national authorities doing something about it, I don't think there is a policy regarding how to address discrimination on the rental market. I know that Zadrugator and Najemniški SOS kind of really, two NGOs, dug into this and kind of talked about this issue, but I don't think the policymakers are currently addressing it. Also, even though the Housing Act is kind of being amended at the moment, or is planning to be amended, there's currently no initiative to change, for example, the conditions for nonprofit housing, so that at least foreigners who have a permit for a permanent stay, I don't know what it's called in English, would be included, to be able to be eligible for nonprofit housing and market rent subsidies. So there's not a big initiative, but also there's not even a big initiative, I think, regarding the general housing population, the general housing situation.
But during your work on this article, which was part of the work was completed within the Gate Cohesive project, but you also worked with a grassroots, how do we call them? Grassroots civil initiative, a housing block, Stanovanjski block, which includes also migrants. Can you maybe talk a little bit about Stanovanjski block? What is it?
Yes, Stanovanjski block is an initiative. it's an initiative that kind of is trying to address the current housing crisis, and it is trying really to get the message to the policymakers that the housing crisis right now is really terrible, and that changes have to be made. And also in the housing front initiative, the housing rights of migrants are really also a priority, which is great because usually they're kind of in the background, but in this initiative they're really in the front. So we are also in the housing front initiative. There also the inclusion of migrants, or at least some part of migrant population for nonprofit housing. But as I said, currently there is no initiative politically.
Okay, thank you. For sure, these questions will be very important and will have to be addressed in the future, since this housing balloon is just not popping. The prices are increasing, rents are increasing. People find it increasingly difficult to make a suitable life for themselves in such a situation. So something for sure will need to be done about this in the future. But now to go to you, Dudu. You've also been in Slovenia for a significant amount of time. You no longer live in the asylum home. You moved out. If you feel comfortable, can you share your experience with integrating into the Slovene society, with finding appropriate accommodation? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. First of all, I can say that I arrived in Slovenia since 2019. So now it's my 6th years here in Slovenia. And then I arrived, I stayed at that registration camp of Vich. Since I was there, I was in those people who waited the work permit from 9 months. Okay, all those time it was a worse time because I arrived in June, and in December the first wave of COVID began, and we was obliged to wait till we will get the work permit. Effectively, we get it, but to find job was not easy. And so all those agencies didn't accept people who don't speak Slovenian. I remember even at Adeco nobody had access at that period. So it was hard, but for my integration, I was obliged to connect with Slovenian class in the camp, wait for that 9 months off to get that work permit. And to alive was hard because to integrate also with the still of life, still of food, and I was sick. It was hard, and the best thing I did, I was connected with social workers, and they give me a little activity in the camp. I was in charge on the land ring for our friends. So it was a way out for me to be active, because in my country, really, I worked, and I think that then I arrive as soon as they will allow me to work. It was not easy. So I had to organize myself, my resilience, how to keep on about my life, to not be deeply in stress or depression. So I went outside to associations. That the period I discovered Infocorpa, in Ambassador also. Today I can say those are my two angel association. Since I know those association, I connect to team member. They inform me something about the country. So it was not easy in the camp. Even if I get the work permit, even if I worked, but you can have money in your account. You can need to find room outside. It was not easy. Not easy for migrant, and you can check even on those links. You can find one room, then you go in touch with the on telephone. They can tell they will call you, but no call come after. So I stay in the camp all my time since 2019 till 2023, I can say. I had money, but no way to find a room outside. Okay, you can see the room, it's free, but they cannot allow you to, they not give you. We don't know why, and we didn't understand why was that system. Rarely some guy who are introduced by Slovenian, so it can work. But even if you have it, maybe it will be for some month or 1 year after they say you have to leave. And the contract time to time is tricky for friends. I see also kind of family when they allow them to go outside, when they come with the contract, to the model of contract to the social work, every time social work say, no, it's not a good contract, don't take this. And I seen family who stayed more time in the camp because of the housing problem. So personally, I have that case also. But the very, very worst situation was for me, it was concerning the administrative situation. The longer time I waited, the decision, even the first decision to my decision maker, because I don't know why. I wait more than 1 year. I arrived in 2019 and the decision came on 2021, 2 years after. And it was also a negative. It was very worse for me, and I went in depression because I come from Congo. And in Congo, I was activist and in the political case. Even if I introduce all data, all evidence, I talk about my way, the way I take everything, but the decision maker decide as he needs. And I made the appeal quickly at the courts, same. I asked myself, they know Congo or they make it express? But what is happened till now, it's the same thing. And it become again very red, very dangerous. So all those situations make me in sick. I get a complicated hypertension. I went in depression. Good that I worked in the same condition. I make my own resilience to be to be strong. So if I don't go work, I can stay home and maybe become crazy, because as I know, more people, more guys, which we come the same period, quickly then they have a negative, they go. They don't wait even to make an appeal. I remember I accepted to integrate by wanting to the Slovenian school. It was a period where I stay alone since 6 months. Nobody need to come to school because they are in worse, complicated situation. They don't understand why then they have negative, they cannot have work permit, why the decision maker have, we don't know to say, I don't know how to say, he take that decision, but not watching on all proof asylum seeker introduce. Really, for my case, I went still on the second asile. I went till in the second asile and nothing worked. Even till now, I have a problem with the ministry at the court. And finally, I went outside to rent a room and still working. And it's in 2023, the ministry stopped to produce the asylum ID for me. They say you are with us in the court. We couldn't allow you again to have the ID of asylum. It was so horrible. And for this time myself, I asked my mind concerning the decision maker. She's an inspector. She knows more things than me. She knew on internet or what happened in my country. Why? I look it like something like discrimination. We fight at the courts, but I don't know. It was like a cinema. Even the judge watched him. I said to the judge, I integrate. I went to school. I alive myself. I work. What happened? And it looked like a certain, I don't know to say racism, but it was worse because even the lawyer who was with me need to explain about the Ukrainian case, who have also same kind of situation like me, but the decision maker say no. Congo or African situation cannot be taken the same like Ukrainian. We were astonished. And since that period, the file is in the courts. Good that Ukraine not made that new law for those one who was firing and can apply for single worker visa and how to stay. This one who was a way out, I applied, but still waiting also the ID. Since September, I have that certificate of work, but I cannot work with. So it's very, very complicated, but we keep on. We are strong. I make my own resilience to be in touch with good friends and to support. I don't know till where. That's the terrific experience, but a normal situation I live. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, but this is actually a question for the three of you. What is your experience with the intervention law that was valid, I think, for 3 months from September to December? I believe that you had to have 9 months of being included in social security scheme, which means a valid work permit and a valid passport and maybe some other condition. Was it potrdilo o nekaznovanosti?
Yeah, this is the law that would allow asylum seekers to change from a status of an asylum seeker to a labor migrant. So receiving the residency based on work. I believe this happened like last year around July or September. And currently the law on foreigners, the current formulation is that asylum seekers could apply for residency based on work if they were working for the last 3 months in the last 4 months. Meaning if you have an active employment, at least for 3 months, you could apply for residency, that you could stop your asylum procedure and receive residency based on work. Currently, this law today is in the parliament. If they will vote it, I don't know. I haven't checked the news.
Well, yeah, I hope they will, but if you feel comfortable answering these questions, of course, do you already mention something? Did you apply for this? What was your experience? Did you meet the conditions and so forth?
Really, I applied in time, and all those conditions I was on, because then I applied quickly 2 weeks after they give me that portadillo of application. So when I applied, I had a contract for 1 year to KFC, and my work was suddenly stopped in April 23, and the contract went till finished soon in January 15. And for this time, I don't know, legally, I applied in the condition. At that time, I had insurance, I have a contract, but I couldn't work because of the ID. That's what will stop everything.
So you were working with a contract, then you got negative decision and everything stopped for you. Do I understand this
Yeah.
correctly? And you're still waiting for the answer about
The upravna nota.
from the upravna enota. Great. Okay, we all know about what is going on at the upravna enota, especially the sector for foreigners. So maybe we will not again talk about this. Okay, maybe one last thing that this issue addresses is we published 12 recommendations for more effective Slovenian courses for foreigners, which the Cultural Association Gmina prepared with Adra Slovenia. Anja is here. Hi, Anja. And Društvo Medkulturni Dialog. It deals with the improvement of Slovene language courses. There's 12 of them. I won't go through all of them. Maybe what is more important is that we are currently almost ready to launch a a new public initiative, and this one will deal with inclusive school lunches for children of different cultural backgrounds, since it is not, the Slovene state does not systemically guarantee that all children have guaranteed access to the type of food that is in line with their cultural heritage. This mostly applies to children of a Muslim background, since they do not eat pork. And also other groups, Adventist Christians, for example, prefer a plant-based diet. We also have vegetarian cultures. Very typical vegetarian culture is Indian. There will be quite a few migrant workers coming from those parts of the world, and it seems that the Slovene school system is not prepared to address the dietary needs of all children attending school. When this is ready, you will all be very welcome to read through it, to also sign it. We are also looking for institutional support. So if you are a member of an institution, we would also kindly ask you to consider if your institution could support our public initiative. So yeah, and I think, not to be too long, since we all know each other more or less, we could continue talking over some food and drinks that Josh so kindly arranged for us. But of course, now it's time for questions from the audience. So if anybody would like to comment on something, or ask a question, or make an intervention, please, you are invited to do so. Yes, Aigul. Wait, you need the mic.
Oh, sorry, guys. Did you hear about the new law is coming? So it was before, like, the part of an intervention law, which is like an extra law just to solve some problem, because they had more problems in upravne enote. What do you think, and what did you hear?
Well, it will be start soon, but when, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We're waiting.
Yeah, we're waiting. We know
All
they will
waiting.
start soon, but when, we don't know.
Aziz, but what do you think about this law? What do you think about the option of asylum seekers in Slovenia having the possibility to change their asylum seeker status to labor migrant?
Yeah, you can, but if you get negative in asylum, you can go to ask for a work visa. But the problem now in Slovenia is the work. It's difficult to find a work. You know, like me now, I need 1 month and a half to go to ask for a work visa. And they found one company, they need the workers. The name is We Move. It's right, We Move.
Yeah.
Okay, and they say, okay, can you send us what do you have? And they say, okay, I have this permission for work in ministry, and this is my ID, this is blah, blah, blah. And they say, okay, but this permission for work, it's not right. And they say, why? They say, because the ministry, they are writing this permission for work. You say your name, this is your name and your surname, and you're born in this place, and blah, blah, blah. But you don't prove that, and we cannot accept you. You need to give your passport or your ID to ministry. to write, okay, this guy is from Morocco, originals, and blah blah blah. And in this time we can accept you. And they ask, what about for ID? They say for ID is not, it's nothing. We need just a permission, the ministry to give you a permission for work. They say, okay, you are, this is your name and this is your name and you import this country. Because they don't believe me. I don't know why. Because the first time in interview, the minister, they ask me for my document, for everything. They say, okay, I'm so sorry, I lost everything in Turkish. If I need new one now, I need to move to Italy or Spain or France or Germany, someplace there is embassy Morocco, because in Slovenia, you know, there is no embassy Morocco. If you need your ID or your document, you cannot get it there. You can move out to Slovenia to get it. They say you can go there, give him just the pictures. They asked my lawyer yesterday for this. They said, okay, I have a picture for my passport. They say there's nothing they change. They still the same thing. They don't believe you.
Who doesn't believe you?
The ministry, if you give him just a picture for your passport or your ID, they don't believe you. You know, they need your passport, original passport, to put your passport or your ID.
To allow you to work.
What?
To allow work.
For
What?
permission, actually, that was given to every individual. The permission that is given to any migrant or any asylum seeker, it is written that the informations are not proven, are right. So once they must be approved, there must be like an official documents must be given to the Ministry of Migration or Interior. So that the paper that can carry your own informations to reach the work market needs, as I said, needs to be more proved. And otherwise, that permission of work is just like a paper of guessing in other people's views, other co-workers or supervisors, agencies, and yeah, this is it.
Can I add something? Yeah, the reality my friend want to say is what we see as about the law of work. Something are not connected. Before they accept, okay, for that new law, they accept people to apply even if they have yet the original passport, they can apply. They understand because people just come from asylum and want in a work permit. But asylum people who have this 3-month work permit, the paper what the decision maker made have something who is not connected with work. The decision maker can write, okay, personally, I have also that 2 times I have that situation. He made on the documents this person pretending is Dudu, blah 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 blah. He pretend he come to Congo. Okay, he talk about some article. Okay, and he at the end only one line will say, okay, we allow him to market of labor. And when you go with that kind of work permits in the company, they doubt. They can say it's a sheet paper. It's not a work permit. And more and more guys who are applying for that 3-month, who are going to apply, then the decision maker make that paper. If they didn't give the passport, they write wherever they need. And the company, when they see that paper, they hesitating to take people in company, and it complicates everything. The second thing also in the market labor is what is this big quantity of people who are coming, I don't know, Nepali, India, who are coming by agencies. They come really in the market labor, but they use them in place of, I don't know to say real worker. they take out people in work and they put them for small charge. It's situation who happened now. So you can find there are more and more people who are still waiting for work. And it will become, I don't know, next year a big problem, or even those ones who are coming for visa, they fire them quickly. They are too much in city. That's the case.
Question?
Hi, I'm Neja from Ambassador Rock. I would just like to clarify because I don't think it was very clear. As far as we know, the law, it will not mean, if it will pass in the way that I've read it, it won't mean that you can simply exchange asylum procedure for work visa. It will only be valid for those who already received the last negative, for whose all the legal procedures were already finished. I just thought it was an important distinction.
Yeah, thanks, Nisha. We will see how all of this plays out. You know, people still who under the intervention law made their application are still waiting for their decisions, if I'm not, if I'm informed correctly. And the number of these people is not very high. It's a very low number. However, at the same time, it is a very big paradigmatic shift. Before, I even remember, like 2 years ago, we were going to some civil society meetings at the Ministry of the Interior, and the people working there were very skeptical about this option. But it happened that they did open the door just a little bit, and let's hope that it will really have some significant and positive effects on people trying to make a life here in Slovenia, to not have illegalized people, and so on. Okay. Any more questions? Yes, Anya?
I Hmm? Zadela? Ne? Yeah? Zadela? Yeah. Okay. So when they deny your request for asylum, do they provide you with any explanation? Because based on what you told us, I simply can't understand how can they deny the request if you have all these reasons, and they have to make the decision based on something, right?
What I can say on this case, personally, the experience I had, I decide to go stay out of the camp. Then I see at the court thing as going in the bad way. And really, for my personal case, I attend till that step of postoina. Even the police didn't understand which kind of decision with those judge. Where are you coming from? From Congo. They don't understand. And in final, when they produced that new law, the police let me free. They decide to to let me, because I testify, show them that upon not a certificate. I'm waiting the ID, I'm waiting the work permits. I think I can be free of the police, and they understand. Really, I get that confirmation, but for other people, it's now so complicated. They don't know if they have to stay in asylum place or to go outside. I don't know what's happened.
If I can add something, I had the privilege and trust of people to read a few of these negative asylum decisions. And this is, it's incredible. It's incredible. The ministry regularly uses Wikipedia as a reliable source on the basis of which they fact check what people from various parts of the world are telling them. Wikipedia. So this is a pretty low, how would I say, burden on proof. On the other side, the asylum applicant needs to prove incredible things. Like the burden of proof on the asylum seeker is incredibly high. The type of documentation they need to provide is very high. And then the ministry is there reading from Wikipedia. How is this balanced? It doesn't seem very balanced to me. Maybe if you want, Jost and Tit, you, for our previous publication, Ogledalo, you wrote extensively about the rejected Eritrean asylum seekers. Eritrean asylum seekers are under special protection of United Nations because of the specific political situation in Eritrea. On the European level, more than 80% of Eritrean asylum seekers got positive asylum claims, but not in Slovenia. In Slovenia, like 95% got rejected. It was real administrative and bureaucratic terror, I would say.
Regarding Eritreans, it was that all of the people who got who came through relocation, so from other camps around Europe, especially Italy, to Slovenia, Eritreans, all of them, they received positive. But suddenly, when Eritreans were coming through the Balkan route, only a small percentage of those people got positive. So suddenly, I think it was even on the new year, I forgot now, it was 2020 or 2021, Eritrean asylum seekers started receiving negatives. The usual case was that ministry was denying the person's identity, saying, as you did not provide proof of your identification, we cannot believe you or your story. You did not prove that you personally are persecuted in your country, even if this country was, for example, Eritrea, or before even Afghanistan. It was the same story with Afghanistan and then with Eritrea. So these are like sudden shifts in, I think, like informal political decisions. So how many asylum cases do we grant in 1 year? Who is eligible for asylum case? Which country we do start to now to deny, and so on. I think these are like backroom politics of Ministry for Interior.
But they claim to be highly objective. They're not.
Please, Katja, I can add something about that case of what happened now in the committee of Assyrian people or migrant. Now people are talking about the specific town of Burundian.
Yeah.
That the thing people are talking out of administration and in society of migrant. They say we don't understand, we don't see which proof they came with to the administration, and the decision is positive. It creates a social problem in community of people. For certainly for all who come from Africa. Even I hear in one disco, one Burundian friend come in, people watch each other. Oh, Burundian. You see, it becomes something like we don't know exactly how the administration decides. All things who should be clarified at the interview, proof, evidence. We don't know.
Okay, yeah.
That the society situation or complicate, I don't know what it will create between people now.
Yeah, we can discuss maybe more about this later. I believe it's quite a touchy subject, but yeah, because they bend it as they wanted. You know, they can ignore some conflict somewhere and accept some conflict somewhere else. Because asylum procedures are not an exact science.
Really, that's exact.
Any more questions? Okay, so I suggest that we bring this to an end. I would like to first of all thank Miha for filming our discussion in Društvo Fantastika, and also to invite you to look at the publications published by Institute ČKZ. There is various things. This one that we published, then there is the bestseller Veliki Iran, a brand new one. What's the new one, Igul? Something from the mouth. Some Kurdish writers and a whole lot of other things. So you are invited to look through them. I would sincerely like to thank all of our guests for taking the time and sharing their stories and experience. And hope to see you next time.